Hello, YouTube! My name's John, and today I'm playing Blood Cross-Matching, or BloodCM for short. This is a fan's attempt to completely recreate the 1997 shooter Blood using the powers of E1M1. And they basically built it completely from scratch, which is pretty damn impressive considering how nearly perfectly they've recreated the experience of playing Blood. Now, I do say nearly because there are some minor inconsistencies here and there with the original game's gameplay, but I'm willing to forgive that, considering that this basically allows us to play Blood on a modern machine without the use of DOSBox, and with some modern conveniences to boot, thanks to E1M1. Essentially, this is about as close as we're going to get to a Blood source port, and that is more than enough for me. So this has been in development for quite a few years, actually. It was originally called Blood TC. Some of you might be more familiar with that name. It was only recently called BloodCM. But point being, as of December 2016, all 4 of Blood's original episodes and the 5th episode from the Plasma Pack are now completely finished and available to play. So I figured this would be a perfect opportunity for me to record myself playing Blood, which is one of my all-time favorite shooters, and to share my love and experiences of this game with all of you on my YouTube channel. So I am really excited. In fact, I'm so excited I've already played through BloodCM on my own, just because the moment I heard about it, I was like, oh shit, yes! But I am more than willing to play through it again and record it this time. So, yeah, that's what we're going to be doing today. So let's just go ahead and get started, shall we? We're, of course, going to start with the very first episode, The Way of All Flesh. And I'm going to be playing it on the Well Done difficulty. I'm not quite this good, but I think I'm better than this. This game is actually pretty brutally difficult, but I think we can persevere on Well Done. So that's the plan. Here we go. All right, BloodCM, starting with Episode 1 on Well Done. Here we go.
I live again.
Indeed you do, Caleb. Indeed you do. So, notably absent, unfortunately, are all of the cutscenes from the original game. They will not appear in this mod, which is a damn shame because they add a lot to the story and they're pretty interesting from a late 90s perspective. Come here, you damn bat. But I can essentially give you a rundown. So, this takes place sometime in the early 20th century. Some people say 1928, although there's other elements that were not part of that time. But let's just say early 20th century. We are Caleb. We are a high-ranking member of an evil cult in the United States who worships an ancient and evil god. But one day that ancient and evil god decided that we were no longer worthy. We, meaning myself, my wife, and my best friends. So he killed all of us, randomly. But Caleb here decided that was not okay, so he rose from his grave and decided, fuck that, I'm gonna go find him and kick his ass. That's essentially what we're doing. Also, as long as we're here, let me show off some of the video effects of this mod, since we are using E1M1. There are some different things you can do, like, right now I have it set on Polymos, but if you set it to Polymer, you can actually get some pretty interesting lighting effects, as you can see there. Some of you might be into that sort of thing. I personally am not a big fan of it, mainly because of that, as you can see. It doesn't seem to render that well on my machine, personally, but... And also, notably, it removes the voxels from the game. If you don't know, Blood actually used voxel sprites occasionally, kind of like Shadow Warrior did, and if you use any other setting than Polymer, they will show up, and there's one right there for the TNT box here. So, yeah, and Polymer also smooths out the textures, which I'm kind of more of a fan of, so, I mean, at the end of the day, it's kind of a matter of preference. If you prefer lighting effects over voxel sprites, then try Polymer mode, but if you prefer to have the voxels, then you might want to try Polymost. Or, if you want to have the most old-school experience possible, you can always do the classic renderer, although I'm not going to show that off because it won't really show up on the screen anyway, because it kind of changes how the game is displayed. Anyway, we're going to be playing on Polymos, so when you play this mod, just set whichever one you prefer and have at it. Anyway, so this is one of the secrets, of course. We get our first weapon here, the TNT. Very, very valuable weapon. Let's actually make a save game here. This is basically the explosive standby of the game. As you can see that red line, that kind of indicates how far we can throw it. Or you can just toss it out in front of you. Or you can do an alternate fire, where you light it prematurely, and you can drop it off on the ground, only for it to explode later. So, very valuable weapon, comes in handy quite a bit. There's also a little secret here. Grab some flares, that's for a weapon we're about to get pretty soon here. But first, we have to deal with our very first enemy, the zombies. Very commonplace enemy. They are melee-oriented, with their axes. But they can be dispatched with your pitchfork here, which is your default melee weapon, your only melee weapon. You can see there, you can also knock off their heads and kick them, which is quite delightful. And blood sprays everywhere, of course, because that's the name of the game, absolutely. You can also kill zombies with explosives and fire-based weapons. Some weapons, I should say, will not fully kill them, but things like that, like fire and explosives, will definitely kill them. So, and your pitchfork will always kill them, because that's just only fair. But just keep in mind that some bullet-based weapons might not fully kill these zombies. There's some more voxel sprites for you. I'm really glad they included all of these. I mean, that's just probably a port over from the original game, but I think it's a nice effect. That's why I prefer poly most, but nevertheless. Here's another secret. Here's some body armor. There's actually multiple armor types in Blood. This actually reflects mostly against physical attacks like bullets and things like that, but there's also fire armor and spirit armor. We'll get all of that in a second. Or whenever we encounter it, at least. Here's a little Easter egg for us.
Nevermore.
So, this game is built on the Build engine, which is the same engine as Duke Nukem 3D, and they kind of took some tropes from that game, like having the main character spout out lines and jokes and whatnot. I always felt like if Duke Nukem 3D was a satire on action games, or action movies, this is definitely a satire on horror movies. And in some ways it is genuinely creepy in some parts. Ah, there they are. The good old cultists. These are kind of another mainstay of the game. They're actually part of the cult that we're a part of, but of course our ancient and evil god decided to kill us, so they're not really on our side right now. This is a shotgun cultist. He has dynamite and a shotgun, and he's dead. So we're not going to deal with him. And here's one of our other new weapons, the flare pistol, a nice variation or alternative to the pistols you see in most first-person shooters back in these days. As you might imagine, it fires flares, which can light people on fire, which is quite handy, because that means you save ammo. As an alternate fire, you can actually do multiple flares at once. Observe. Hold on, let me get a good angle here. Alright. Yeah, that works. Alright, come over here. Alright, that works. Let's blow up this guy. He also has our skull key, which we definitely need. Alright, grab some more stuff over here. So we can actually access a secret up here by jumping on this and then jumping up here. We can actually do it correctly. There we go. Alright, so this is actually a power-up in the game. It's called the Guns Akimbo. As you might imagine, it allows us to have two weapons at once for a temporary period of time. So, this is pretty handy. Let's go ahead and walk inside the Morningside Cemetery.
Open for business.
I really love his sarcastic attitude. Morningside Funeral Hell. So that basically fires two shots at once. Although, I want to be a little bit careful with our ammo here, so let's just, I think that takes care of that. I think there's a couple more, though. Ooh! Oh, crap. Yeah, you bastard. I'm gonna go ahead and grab that, because I want this shotgun. So yeah, that dynamite they throw out can be quite devastating. Alright, so we have three... How we doing? Okay. Ugh. Screw you. There we go. Okay, we have one flare left. That's better than nothing. At least say that much. Alright, there's a way to open this, and I'm trying to remember how to do it. Oh. And there's rats in there. Also kind of a common enemy. They're more of a nuisance than anything else. They can be killed with a pitchfork pretty easily. But they can be annoying because they come in packs like this. But we do want those flares. Where are you? Come here. Come here. Yeah. Fuck off. Alright, so at least we have a little more flares. Alright, so let's go ahead and go in here. Another little secret here. If you play the organ... So this is Beast Vision. It essentially is the night vision of Blood. It basically allows you to see enemies a bit more clearly. I can kind of demonstrate here. I think there's an enemy right around here, actually. You notice that they're all kind of pale when they're in this dark room here. But now I have Beast Vision activated. Off. On. Off. You get the idea. I actually don't find myself using it too often, to be honest. Most of the time I can see enemies pretty clearly. But yeah, just a thing that's in the game, nevertheless. Alright. Turn on some lights in here. Man, it is so dark. Let's just get some actual light in here. Now, cracks often indicate a secret that you need to explode. This one in particular contains body armor, which is always nice. You can also light things on fire with the flare gun, like that barrel of TNT. That should do it. can also get out to that secret out here from earlier if you really want to. Anyway, alright. Another secret around here. Right about here. Now this contains fire armor and rats. Yeah. Come here. Come down here. Come on. There we go. Now this is fire armor. As you might imagine, it protects you against fire. Go figure. There is some fire damage later on in the game that you'll encounter. So, something to keep in mind. It's nice to have. Let's save again. Okay. There's a cultist in here. Get! Oh. There we go. That should do it. Now, occasionally cultists drop health packs, basically, which in this game is these weird-looking heart things. They also drop keys occasionally, but yeah, that's kind of the main source of health in this game, is these life essences, as they're called. But there's also medkits like this, where you can just kind of carry around a medkit. I'm not going to use it quite yet, actually. In fact, I'm going to jump into this furnace here and grab a life seed. I don't know if you got to see it there, it was kind of brief, but it's a giant-looking eyeball, and it gives you over 100 health, actually, sometimes. Here's another little Easter egg for you.
Out, damn spot.
Nice dramatics there, Caleb. Anyway, more voxels and what have you. And that leads back out there. So now we have the dagger key. There are actually, let me think. I think there's 6 keys total in the game. They're not all used in every level, but there's quite a few keys. So here's where we're going next, actually. Also, nicely enough, this mod includes all the original Blood music in MP3 form, or maybe it's OGG, I can't remember. But it's all available in the game, so that's a very nice touch. The music in this game is quite nice, actually. That was very smart. We're going to try that again, except without blowing ourselves up. How about we do this instead? There are some secrets underneath here. More flares. Also, I mean, look at that. Bloody hands on the wall. I mean, that's pretty creepy. There's some cultists down there. Yeah. Alright, got one of them. Alright, perfect. I think we got just about everything. Although, there might be some secrets we're leaving behind, but nevertheless, that's the very first level of the game Blood. How the hell did I phrase it like that? What the hell? Of the game Blood. Yes, good job, John. Excellent. I think that's pretty much everything. So let's just go ahead and exit, shall we? Shall we leave? I think we shall. Got everything we really can at this point. So there you go! Ah, see, we did miss some secrets. Ah, whatever. And every level ends with this sort of groaning chorus, which has always been hilarious to me. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode of BloodCM. Alright, later.